Sayuka at last! I must go. Discovery awaits. Agrasima, Captain.
Been a while since we crossed Cannon, Seraphin.
Since the gentleman outsailed that Rawatai scow off of Hasongo, if I rightly recall.
Us sharing a crew saves me a bullet I'll need elsewhere, so... thanks.
Any time, lass.
You are welcome in Sayuka, traveler, as surely as the winds stir the sea.
No, no, no. How many times must I demonstrate the proper way to greet a visitor?
I say, I must have forgotten again. Will you remind me of the line, Undersecretary?
We say clear skies, traveler. Simple, elegant, and no smiling. Do you understand, Greeter Tebe?
Can you repeat it once more? I want to make sure I've got it. Questions, traveler? Sayuka, known to my people as Ribiri, is a colonial outpost of the Royal Deadfire Company.
The island of Sayuka is the Royal Deadfire Company's center of engineering research and development in the archipelago. Our work is directed by Fleet Master Okaya, the youngest Rawataian ever to hold the title. Best of her class at the Naval Academy in Tokoa, and a brilliant engineer, our Fleet Master.
You forgot to mention the giant sharks, Undersecretary. Giant sharks, giant coral, giant trees, Akira. The only thing not bigger in Sayuka is us Juana.
Small mercy.
No one knows why things grow large in Sayuka, but there are all sorts of theories. Me? I think Gallowayne smiles on us.
Superstition is unbecoming of a Royal Deadfire Company officer, Tebe.
I say, it's a lucky thing I'm not one then. Akira, I wonder the same every day.
Tebe learns to perform her duties as a Rawataian might. Her fellow Juana show a lamentable disinterest in the proper way of doing things.
Do not speak about me as if I am not here. A career sandal sniffer and busybody, so far as I can tell.
You ungrateful sag! I am the second in command to Fleet Master Okaya, the governor of your piddling little island, and I will not be mocked by a smart-mouthed idler like you!
So I have heard many, many times. You don't know the half of it.
What was that, Greeter Tebe?
Surely just the breeze, Undersecretary.
You will call me Sir.
Akira, I certainly will not.
Your orders, Captain?
Oh, greetings. Might I help you with something? I suppose. I was a proud man once, a gold pack knight. Then I took a job and it went poorly. I could no longer stay with the Order after that. In the years since, I have wandered the length of the Deadfire, dedicating my life to self-discipline an abstination from worldly distractions. It is only through suffering that the soul becomes strong. Do you understand? I should hope that you do, young woman. You would ask an old man to share his wisdom? Well, I suppose I could. For 3,000 copper. Fine by me. Find me if you need me.
Oi, Cap! There he be! There be Remoro. Sure as my arse be blue.
I wish you'd not come, my lad. Pleased though I be to see you. Even Aldi's anarchists spare no mercy for mutineers.
Aye, but you, a traitor? The very thought of it be ludicrous. Return with us. I'll be protecting you, and we'll be seeing to your fair judging.
I can't, Blue. Much as I loathe to leave. I'm dead to these waters, and they to me.
Break my biscuits and call me Swabby. You've gone addled in your dotage, ain't you? Captain, unsheathe that silvered tongue of yours, and talk some damn sense into this old sort.
The Principi have changed, and not for the better. Once, we aligned behind a common purpose. Now, we fractured into two extremes, each wallowing in its own corruption. I couldn't bear to remain, sheltered or no. It's a hopeless feeling, bearing witness to the slow decline of something I once held such pride in.
There still be pride to be had. Honor, too. Things be changing sure as shit, but you can't thread them narrows if you ain't even at the wheel.
I hope I'm wrong, if only for your sake. I don't think the Principi can survive as is, and I can't watch something I devoted my life to sink into ruin. Ak, these roomy eyes have seen too much. Nepotism and cronyism run rampant, rotting the Principi from inside out. Power consolidates behind the least deserving. The Consuelo's leadership founders, and with it, my faith.
But lay that plan of you, old sea dog. You're no good as any. There ain't no faith on these waters, save that you be finding for yourself. Betwixt your brains and my swagger, we'll be right in the good ship Principe San Petrina forthwith, and be shot of these ship squiffy doldrums.
A fine dream. I pray to Ondra that you achieve it. For me, though, the current flows but one way. A return to the Principi would mean my death. I've not heard every charge against me, but that of mutiny, of that charge, I bear guilt.
Why? Sorcerer were our home and kin. We're our cock-swelling pride. And you bartered it to an half-drowned old elf for a pint-bilged fucking clipper. 14 years I spent swabbing them decks. Longer yet for you. Captain Bastion trusted you. I trusted you.
Tak. Bon amico. Sientere, Seraphin. I've disappointed you. Hurt you. No words can justify my actions. I only hope you believe me, that I did what needed doing.
How can I?
Ak, that I am. Many things. For many reasons. I learned long ago that it's oft-times better to hold your tongue.
The Watcher here reminded me that you and me, we be deeper than two hands on a deck. We be kin. You be the closest thing I've ever had to a father. And if you be setting sail, I'll be embarking with you.
Your journeys with this Watcher have changed you, Blue. You wear it well, bon amico. Captain Bastian had the sorcerer slaving.
Slaving? What kind of fathom-headed hornswoggle be this? The sorcerer were my kin. They weren't slaving. I hunted slavers for the captain. We freed slaves together.
So I also believed. But Bastian sold those we saved to the Crooksburg slavers. I found records of it in his quarters, almost a decade's worth. When I confronted him, it went poorly. Siente, bon amico. Forgive me. I meant you not to know. To keep your faith in our traditions. To remain optimistic. A bright star within the Principe.
Cut him loose, Cap. Aye, he did the Deadfire a fine turn by sinking them slavers. But among the Consuelo, mutiny means death. Better go on for a no.
Agrasima, Watcher. The Clipper will be loaded soon, and then we'll be away. Cores, Seraphin. Bon amico. Take this. May you have rare cause to use it. I hope we meet again someday. On calmer seas.
Caress, bon amico.
All the wonders of the sea, and more besides.
What can I do for you? Sayuka? Bit of a backwater if you ask me, but don't tell the fleet master I told you so. This used to be where the fleet would send a person after they'd seen a fellow sailor blown to bits by a cannonball or what have you. That was before those mad druids out in the bogs started sending bears and wild cats over the walls, of course. Let me know if you're in the market for something pointy. Everyone's always gotta ask. Not that I blame them. It is a good story. I was seeing this guy. Let's call him, oh, I don't know, Kono. Kono and I had been carrying on a while when I started making noise about wanting to move in. Frightened the boy so bad, he went and joined the Royal Deadfire Company in the middle of the night. Thing is, I'm a deft hand with a throwing knife, and I know my way around 10 kinds of blades. So I followed him into the service. Pulled my weight, got on a good ship. Kono eventually left to go to poetry school or what have you. But I stayed. Haven't heard a complaint yet.
I will not return to the Longhouse, Weto, never! And I won't blunt my teeth about it further!
But what are you so stubborn? The Rawatayans do us a great favor and you spit in their faces. What do you need? Not at all, not at all. My sister and I are just having a small disagreement.
It is because you speak like this that I yell at you in the first place. You're beginning to sound like those Rawatayan outlanders, and it shames me to say so.
Ignore her. She has an urchin up her ass about her cousins from the north and can't be persuaded. I should know. I've tried.
Is it so unreasonable to want to protect my culture, our culture, from our greedy neighbors? They arrive in ships laden with goods they believe will please us and think that gives them the right to build their walls on our land. Then, they act surprised when we don't all fall at their feet with cries of gratitude. We are no strangers to the menaces of the Deadfire. Pirates, colonials, Nagati's children. We have bested all of them before. We don't need them or their walls to keep us safe, and we surely don't need their longhouse.
We are no strangers to storms, but last year we suffered many powerful ones in quick succession, and our harvest of Koiki fruit was destroyed. Prize share was rationed, famine loomed, and then the Rawatayans sent ships, load after load of food, enough to see us to the next harvest. They could have left us to die, but they didn't.
It was only a ploy to make us dependent on them, Akira. We took their food and helping hands, and now we sleep in their buildings and watch the sea from their walls. Another of the Rawatayan's tricks. When our huts were destroyed in the storms, they did not rebuild them like they were as we requested. They built this longhouse instead. Are you not one people? They said. Why do you live divided, each caste apart from the others? They believe they know what's best for us, but how we live is not their business. The Fleet Master says we are weak because we don't work as one. She doesn't see that it's our differences that make the Huana strong. She doesn't want to see it, lest it put the lie to their enterprise here. Under whose banner? Rawatai's? Then we cease to be Huana as surely as if they conquered us.
We have the land and resources Rawatai needs, and they have the military might we lack. We share a common ancestor. Why not create a common culture? Together we would be strong.
I say, if you truly believe that, then you're a bigger fool than I thought. Then leave, Akira. Unless you wish to drown with us both.
I say, if you have nothing constructive to add and don't intend to help, then take my sister's advice and go. We have cynics aplenty. We will live without one more.
I hate to see Tippa and Watto fight.
Your orders, Captain? I'll give you two lovebirds some room to chat. Now that is what I'd call a happy bird. Not to mention a fat bird. Pretty soon I'll have to roll him around like a cask of ale. Mark of a good captain, I'd say. Consider your performance noted. It didn't take you long to open up to the idea at first. I like that eagerness. Let's say you've graduated to achieving the bare minimum of my favor, which is farther than most anyone gets. Well? Sorry. I'm not new to this. I'm just not used to sharing company longer than a single voyage. I can't say where this goes next, but I'm keen on where it is now. I've enjoyed female company in the past, in case, for any reason, you were wondering. A man will do in a pinch, as long as their best thinking comes from the appropriate brain. I just get a feeling about certain people, no matter their equipment. And before you ask, the answer is no.
Kara, I said nothing.
I usually go for the clever ones, though they're not always clever enough to tell that I'm available. What about you? What do you fancy? That right. We're all slaves to our own nameless want, aren't we? Sounds nice when you say it like that. A little wholesome for my taste, but nice. However it pans out, thanks for taking the time. And for the bird food. I've got some answers. I won a shooting competition at the Ranganui. As a reward, he gave me the freedom. Stink Feathers here kicked a rather pretty hawk off my arm. Try not to let it get to your head, Ishi. Wonderful. He's so much easier to wrangle when his ego's inflated.
You be boring a hole in me with them eyes, Cap. I'd offer an obol for your thoughts, but, I prefer not to make deals I ain't got no intention to keep. I'd be fine, actually. Strange though it be. I'm not sure there'd be much to say, Captain. Oh, Cap, didn't feel at all good. What brilliant you are. Sorry about that. Weren't fair to you. Aye, Cap. Much as I hate's an honest word, some truths ain't for burial at sea. And despite it all, Cap, I'll be right glad to be serving with you.
Those Raparu dare make such a racket in my longhouse? What were those royal Deadfire fools thinking? At least someone understands the proper way of things. What do you want? I am Mataru, a warrior. The best quarters are mine by right. And yet I cannot display my most precious possession, my grandmother's warhammer, for fear the Raparu might steal it. It is absurd. They know no better. A Huana soul is not born into the Raparu without reason, after all. Not even the greatest Mataru can stand against a fleet of Rawatayan warships.
Over, then under, then twist. Good.
Hey, Kara, it looks so easy when you do it.
Oh, hello. Come to watch me tie rugs, have you?
Asaru has been teaching me.
What say, traveler?
It is as you say, but I have always admired the beautiful rugs Osaru makes.
And Nadunga can fix anything. Is it not reasonable we should learn from each other?
Akira, especially if we must suffer Waturi together.
Just so.
It's not so bad, excepting the nights Waturi gets into the palm wine.
Akira, but that man does snore loud enough to call down the rains. There is hardly any space to tie my rugs, to be certain, and I haven't had a moment to myself in weeks.
But there are also new friends to be made.
Indeed there are. Captain, I am inspired to redecorate our ship's quarters.
Ha! It's not a skill one learns in an afternoon. But should you wish to spend many months here in this longhouse, you're welcome.
I say, we have the room. So long as you do not mind sleeping like so many scrolls stuffed in a shelf.
Carry the winds with you, traveler.
Seraphin, I am glad that you were able to see Remaro one last time before he left.
Aye, it were worthwhile. Not that I ain't aiming to set eyes on the old sawbones again. Assuming the captain don't get us all good and dead first.
Then let us work for better days ahead.
Don't bring trouble, I hope. Artillery trajectory calculations. Terribly tedious and lamentably imprecise in a storm. But the numbers distract me. Where are my manners? You must be the watcher the Hazanui sent. You found me with a rare spare moment. Did you not read the name on the door before you came in? You do know you're in the office of the Fleet Master, I hope. You meant to ask why I'm important enough to have my name on a door. I'm a fleet master of the Rawatayan Navy stationed at Sayuka, a research colony of the Royal Deadfire Company. Andra's mortar. Storms that strong, that consistent. I suspect they're not natural. You misunderstand. I don't command ships. I command this port. Rawatayan vessels docking here are under my protection, but I don't tell them where to go. That's the Hazanui's job. To one unfamiliar with the Rawatayan Navy, perhaps, but mine is an administrative position. I see to the smooth running of Sayuka. Of course, it'd be a sight easier if there weren't the coral to contend with. I've received a report from the dockmaster stating as much. The Royal Deadfire Company appreciates your swift delivery of our cargo. Well? I've received a report from the dockmaster stating as much. The Royal Deadfire Company appreciates your swift delivery of our cargo. Why would she? You're a courier. In any event, the Hazanui's missive suggested you might be able to help us with an issue at port. Naturally. You may have noticed the outsized coral in the harbor. There's something unnatural about the coral's growth, about everything on this island. And no matter how we trim it back, it only grows larger. My engineers deduced that the origin of this disturbance is somewhere off the coast of Sayuka, and I'd like you to investigate. Talk to Avera in the workshop if you care to learn more. I would be grateful for your help here, Watcher. Well? You don't waste any time. I appreciate your candor. It's a reasonable inquiry, I suppose. The Juana are pliant enough and willing to work hard when properly motivated. We have as much right to this land as they do. If they plan to do nothing with it, it's our duty to steward it for them.
How can we make plans over the roar of cannon fire? We are too busy moving our families from bought or claimed islands.
They'll adjust in time. Besides, it could be worse. Of course, the Juana and Rauataians share a common interest and a common ancestor. The Vailians don't care about the Deadfire, really. They'll strip mine the archipelago of luminous Audra, then abandon it for the next shiny bauble that catches their eye. They're like magpies in that way. Magpies in silly hats. How much do you know of Rauatai, Watcher? So you have a scholarly understanding. That's not worth nothing. You'll find we appreciate the spirit of inquiry in Sayuka, and in Rauatai. Well, I don't need to tell you that Rauatai is a stern mother, tempestuous and inhospitable. We have to trade for much of what we need, and the Juana have proven to be valuable partners. The Deadfire is markedly more comfortable than Rauatai. The archipelago is also an excellent place from which to study the storms of Andra's mortar. Do you ask how I came to my position, or why I pursued it to begin with? No one's ever asked me that. I suppose I've always had a persistent interest in engineering. Even as a child, I was dismantling my mother's guns just to see how they worked. Then I met Karoo. Hazanui Karoo. She encouraged me to take my skills to the Navy. So I did, even though I had no obligation to as the youngest of my siblings. We nurture our keen minds in Rauatai, you see. We don't let them piddle away their brilliance on frivolities. The bright and willing are supported, mentored, respected. Is that... Did she really say that? Pardon me, I wasn't expecting. With a question like that, I might mistake you for a starry-eyed recruit. There's no secret to it. Just hard work, determination, a good deal of luck, and the right connections. A bit of ruthlessness can take the place of any one of those things, provided it's judiciously applied. Very well. Every day, the wild coasts, the merciless winds, their lack is like a missing limb. Rauatai will always be there, and the work we do here, that's what matters now. That's a weighty question. It's a reasonable inquiry, I suppose. The Juana are pliant enough and willing to work hard when properly motivated. We have as much right to this land as they do. If they plan to do nothing with it, it's our duty to steward it for them.
How can we make plans over the roar of cannon fire? We are too busy moving our families from
Very well.
Of course.
The gods want more for us than piracy, I say.
Aye. More than farming, more than fishing, more than shaping the water even. Freebooting be the means, lad, not the ends.
This area is strictly off-limits to non-company personnel. What are you doing here?
Calma, amico. Is this not the casita your Asanui said she would send?
Praise be. The coral in the harbor is growing out of control, and we've found no way to stop it. We're at our wits' end. I've surmised that a magical disturbance must be the source of the problem. So far as I can tell, the most likely candidate is a strange magical signature emanating from someplace off the southeast coast of the island, deep beneath the sea.
The Huanas records show that an ancient and Guithan ruin, Signath Mall, once stood at that approximate location. I do not doubt that something in that ruin is the source of the trouble. Perguono, take this. It is my masterpiece, Uck. The helmet should allow you to breathe underwater for time enough to deal with the disturbance, provided, of course, that you hurry.
None among the company share your particular, history with Nguithan artifacts. You are, in essence, the perfect candidate for our research. The Royal Deadfire Company thanks you for your assistance, Watcher.
And your bravery. Aura Taugori! Happily.
Hasanui demanded additional cannons. We must oblige her.
We cannot spare the weight. Already the ballast is overtaxed.
Increase the size of the ballast then.
And store it where? Then we must increase the size of the ship.
Take your concerns to the Valian. This mess is her responsibility now.
So much to do, so few hours in the day.
Well, if you insist. Indeed.
What have we here?
We're under attack! Hold them off while I tell the others! Hurry! They're just outside the gate!
I'm told you were instrumental in our stand against the Druids. Well done. The Druids have harried us from the moment we made landfall. For a bunch of pencil-twiddling engineers, you mean? Several days ago, I dispatched a small force to quell them, but I've heard nothing of them since. To be frank, I suspect they were killed. And I no longer have enough people to repel another attack. We Rowattians are tougher than most, but we're engineers all the same. We weren't trained to fight. Given your impressive showing in our hour of need, I'd hoped I might impose on you with a request for aid. Go to the bog where I sent my people. You'll find the Druids' leaders there, no doubt. Kill them. Should you do so, the Royal Deadfire Company would stand in your debt, and I would be immensely grateful.
Them vines can be damn good fun in the right setting. This ain't it.
Still got it.
I'm here.
My insides burn.
It's no use. Friends.
Brother Ingati. Is that you? Worth and rough!
Off to battle.
This will not do!
I'm no help here. Absolutely.
You ask too much.
Your every step fouls the ground. Why do you pollute this sacred place? The Rowattian invaders trespassed upon our sacred ground and ignored our overtures. The fault for this conflict lies not with us.
Why should we believe you are any different?
Forgive me, Captain, but how can I fault anyone for standing their ground against Rowattai? Disobedience is a lesson that more of us must learn.
An end comes to all things in time, and we do not fear the Rawatayan invaders, nor you.
I swear.
Second try, I say.
That hit true. I'd be glad to. Happily. At once.
I hope your effort to resolve the coral situation is meeting with success. Excellent. You are as dependable as I've been told to expect. Now we can begin logging in earnest. Regarding your reward, we seized a cache of weapons from a gang of pirates we caught sniffing about Sayuka. Of course, we only use regulation weaponry here, so I'd appreciate it if you'd take these off my hands before one of my engineers does something foolish with them. You found me with a rare spare moment.
Oh, you land-lubbing bag of bilge bile. You owe me £400, a ship, and your cog-swabbing life.
Right between...
Ixie Arnold!
Ahoy, Captain. What can I do you for? I espy a lurking question, Cap. I were born into slavery, Cap. I never knew no father save Romaro and don't much remember my mother. I do remember the day they tore me from her arms. Her screams. Kind of thing that leaves a mark. It'd have been one thing if I was purchased for labor. To lift or farm or fix or what do you have. But they bought me to fight. Threw me in a fucking pit. Set me against other slaves.
There's a special place in hell for souls like that. No, really, they get shredded. Cut right from the cycle.
Disgust. I have always found slave fighting repulsive.
Ain't your sin to carry, Cap. They transported me twixt one pit and the next by ship. And they would set me swabbing decks. One eve, the sorcerer fell upon them sneaking up in the sunset. When blades were drawn, I availed myself of one. Found myself a little justice. Romaro brought me aboard the sorcerer. The rest of the story's old.
Inventor Rivera has experimented with devices to bring air underwater. But this appears to be something on a far grander scale.
Stand together! Take this! What can I do? Someone's up ahead.
Milan, Fermer Republic!
At once. Could be trouble.
God, that were a beaut.
As one.
How good, I say.
I'd be glad to. Indeed.
What?
I'll try my best.
That's me too. They netted me, Cap.
Second try, I say.
Of course.
As impressive as these Engwithian machines are, they are always dangerous.
Indeed. Of course.
Watcher, still your hands. Signath Moor is under my protection. Why do you violate it? I am fond of the creatures it creates. The small among them struggle to best their bolder brethren, and some even succeed. But that is not what you truly want to ask, is it? Indeed it is. The Engwithan's fine creation siphons essence from a vein of Adra deep within the earth, and the creatures of this region drink deeply of it. They grow strong, ruthless, and in so doing, worthy of my regard. Should you want to gain my regard as well, you would destroy this place to protect my machine. Then none will have the means to threaten my work here as you have. Cleverness should hunt always beside strength, Hound of Aethys. Because I am your god, Watcher, and I reward my loyal followers. You would do well to think twice before crossing me. No! This defiance will be your last.
Oh, this fish has met his match, I say. Mother, forgive me in advance for slaying this beauty. Flicked in the air.
Yes?